What's up, fam? It's your boy Tony. I'm here with another video for you today about another gun that I just got. I know I said no more guns for 2025, but I had to pick one up. If you see my post, you already seen it. If you see my Instagram, you already seen it. But let me just go ahead and get to it real quick. And it is this gun right here, the Springfield Prodigy Compact, the 3.5 inch model. Let me do this real quick for you guys. We are empty and we are empty. All right. All right, fam. So as you know, as gun collectors, gun enthusiasts, we just can't have one gun. And that comes for everything. We just can't have one long range gun. We just can't have one range toy. We just can't have one competition gun. And we definitely can't have one EDC. Now, I get it. People say you should only have one EDC. That way you train with it on a regular basis. You're familiar with it, stuff like that. But if you train with your guns, and anytime you go to a range, if you take your EDC guns with you and shoot them, you should be familiar with it. Plus, I'm somebody who was constantly in the house, you know, taking my gun, putting the magazine in, taking it out, racking the slide, pointing it, dry firing it, you know, drawing from a holster, all that stuff. So I'm very familiar with my guns. So I don't think I really have that issue. But some people might not have the capability of doing that all the time. Maybe you have kids around the house and you don't want to have your firearms around them. The only kid around here is my dog, so I don't have to worry about that issue. Me personally, I know what happened with Springfield Armory and the Prodigy release initially with the 5 inch and the 4 1/4. I know a lot of people had issues. I got mine, maybe my 5 inch, maybe 6 months, almost to a year after the release. And I didn't have too many issues with it. I never had a failure to fire, a failure to feed. The only issue I had was the disconnector hang up, where when you bring it back, it would get caught on the disconnector and it wouldn't come forward on its own, which as you can see, I don't have that issue here with this firearm. Let me go ahead and get to it because I know some of you guys' attention span is really short and you don't like long videos. I'm trying to make sure the video isn't long. But I'm gonna say, I love this gun. This is my new EDC. It passed all my tests. For me, I feel like it's a go. I feel like Springfield fixed a lot of issues that they had with the original Prodigies. But a little bit later on, I'll tell you some of the things that changed within the guns. I'll compare the two in a video that I did previously. So I did the Atlas trigger, as you can see. I waited on, I got the Terran Tactical base plates, but I waited on that. The firing pin spring I replaced just because I wanted a more reliable firing pin spring. Extend the slide stop, slide release. The only issue with this gun, just so you know, I'm going to go ahead and tell you the cons right now. Of course, the price, because 2011s are expensive for whatever reason. And even though this is not an expensive 2011, compared to striker fire guns, it is expensive. And then my mag release. My mag release was extremely gritty. Okay, it was extremely gritty. Now, it was an easy fix because I handle my guns, I work on my guns, I pay attention to my guns, I take them apart, I put them back together. And all it took was for me to take the mag release out, for me to pop the spring out, make sure the spring was functioning correctly, check where the spring seats in, make sure there's no obstructions, no burrs or anything like that. And then add a little bit of lubrication to it, put it back in there, and it's been functioning perfectly with no issues. As you can see, no issues at all. So it works. I did originally have the old Sight S on here, which was their enclosed optic, their RMSC footprint one on an optic plate, and that's the one you'll see when I'm firing the gun itself. I changed that and went with the Acro, not because I didn't like the old Sight, because I did like it. I put it on another gun. The plate that Springfield provides and that CNH does and that another company does, all their plates are just extremely wide, and it makes that optic sit on there look like a little tiny mailbox on there. and I just didn't like the look of it. So I decided to finally break down and get me an aim point acro. These things are expensive, and if I ever drop a firearm, I guess I'll find out then if it's really worth it, even though I don't drop them. But you never know; things can happen. I'm not putting a mag well on this since it's an EDC. I don't want to print. This is, there are 15, these are 15 round mags. I went with the Terran Tactical. I went with the smallest one, and then I went with the largest base plate. So you can see the difference. Now there is rounds in here because it is my EDC, but it's that. So this added a +1, so it's sitting at 16. And then this added a +2, no, +3. So I'm at 18 for that. Now, this was at first a little oversprung, it felt like, but it has worked itself in a lot after I put the 500 rounds through it. Not as much as my 5-inch is, but it does still feel good. Better than, I would say better sprung than my Oracle Arms 2311. As far as the grip goes, as you can see, my hand fits it. Some people, I guess if you have fat, chunky hands, you're gonna have a problem with this grip being a compact grip. I don't. It fits perfectly. I have no issues at all. You have your little undercut and all that, so I don't have any complaints on it. Real quick, so you can see how it compares to the Hellcat Pro. Lengthwise, let's see if we can get this lined up together. Now, the barrel on the Hellcat is a 3.7. The Prodigy is a 3.5. Slow is slightly longer. But on the tail end, of course, you have the extended beaver tail that you're going to have an issue with. And then as far as the grip goes, of course, the grip on the 2011 is way thicker than the grip on the Hellcat Pro. My two EDCs, this has always been my favorite EDC. Just the way it carries, the way it grips, all that. But this is taking up a new spot in my mantle. All right, so shooting, firing. So it did pass all my tests. I don't know the names of all these tests. I just name them what I name them. But the bullet barrel test, where you actually take the barrel out, you put the bullets in to make sure they fit in there, it passed that. Spring wise, using snap caps and putting them in the magazine, put them in and racking the slide to get them to eject, to make sure they feed, make sure they eject, make sure the slide seats like it's supposed to all the way. Ensuring that the trigger safety, or the safety works correctly on both sides, not just one side, that it works on both sides, right? And then actually squeezing the trigger, also trying to squeeze the trigger without the grip safety being pulled or pressed in to ensure that it doesn't go off. It passed all those tests, and then I did 500 rounds and it was flawless, those 500 rounds. Now, I did have some issues with the slide not staying locked back on some mags, and that was with the old Prodigy magazine. So I used the magazines from my 5-inch, my 17, my 20, my 26, and at first those weren't locking back, but then they started locking back on the second try, and then I had no more issues after that. All my 15 round mags locked back with no issues. So let's go to the comparison between the 5-inch and the 3.5, so you know the differences between the two when it comes to internals, externals, all that stuff. And for those of you who think that everything's interchangeable, some things are, some things aren't, and you can see why. Want to know if there's anything different or new to the Prodigy when it comes to these new comp versions. So grip wise, you already know it's a shorter grip. As you can see right there, that's the difference in the grip itself. But overall length and everything else about the grip appears to be the same. I will say little small differences here and there, like as you can see here, the cutout here is bigger on the new one compared to the old one. And then if you see the lip, oh, some small changes, but nothing major with the grip itself. The grip to me feels like it's the same width. Still hard to reach over and release your mag without breaking your grip. But besides that, the undercuts are the same. The texture is, for the most part, is the same through and through on both of these. So we'll go ahead and separate those. As you can see with the frames, this frame is a lot lighter. I believe the frame on this is aluminum, while this one was a steel, if I'm correct. But you can feel the weight. There's a huge weight difference between the two, and it ain't just based off the size. Besides that, though, it looks like for the most part everything looks the same. See if you can see that there. All the railings, everything, each side piece of it looks extremely similar. It doesn't look like there's any real deviations. I would say on the compact version, as you can see, this little lip right here, because I tried to put on my Icarus grip on here to see if it would fit, but it wouldn't, and I think this was part of the part that was impeding it. As you can see, this is the way it's cut. This is more of an accurate cut, and this is more cut down, as you can see. Let's see, what else do I notice besides that? I believe that's it. All the railings and everything appears to be the same. That's the only major difference I see in the rails, other than the size and the weight itself, is just the way it's cut right here. So I think that's going to eliminate your aftermarket grips. Your gunsmiths are going to have to do some extra work to get it to work with it, or they're going to have to come up with grips that fit directly for this, because it does not fit. And I can give you an example of that real quick. So here's my Icarus grip right here. As you can see, when I place it on the Prodigy, it fits perfectly, right? It lines up, everything's good to go. There's no issues there at all. When you try to do it with the new one, that impedes it, that piece right there. So that's either going to have to be cut off, shaved down, or something for it to work. So that's the only piece that's different that the gunsmiths will have to work with. Everything else should work with no problems. And this Icarus grip is smaller in diameter overall when it comes to grip width. I would prefer this because I wouldn't have to break my grip in order to release my mag. Let's go into the pieces within the frames, of course. Mainspring housing, the grip, the texture on the comp matches the grip itself. Remember, the mainspring housing on the other one was different. Sizes, of course, are different, so you're going to need a different spring to put in this mainspring housing compared to the other one. All right, hammers on both. So as you can see, the notches and everything else lines up, but the comp one is a smaller. They're both skeletonized, but you see how the hammer is cut and how it looks for the two. I don't have a scale, I'm sorry, so I don't know which one's the best weight, but it seems like not the hammer itself is, of course, a MIM part. So if you're replacing parts, the hammer itself doesn't appear to be that it needs to be replaced. It's just the strut needs to be replaced. This connector and the sear. So disconnectors on both are exactly the same. There is no difference between the two at all. They are exactly the same, and they are injected molded as well. So, you know, these will be parts that you would place with your EGW kit. The sear itself is MIM as well, but there is no difference between the two of them. They are exactly the same. They did not change anything on these at all. For those who was wondering, let me show you that up close. Nothing was changed on these at all. Beaver tail. The beaver tail, of course, for the compact version is shorter on the tail itself, but everything else is the same length. Yeah, everything's the same length. Here you go. If you want to see that, it lines up. Slightly different, just barely noticeable, if anything, but everything else about it the same. It's just that tail on it is longer on the 5-inch version compared to the comp version. The springs that go against your thumb safeties are exactly the same. Are they the same size? It appears that the one for the 5-inch is a little longer. I replaced the slide release, slide stops on both of mine, so I don't have one to match up with to show you that. So these are both aftermarket ones, so I won't be showing you these. As you can see, the compact is just slightly smaller. Let me go ahead and separate these both and compare each one. So the left side on both, the compact one is actually the thumb safety is a little bit thicker, just slightly. And it's the way it's cut is better. It's not as sharp as the 5-inch model. So they did fix that. So that is good. As far as the left-hand side, width-wise, the 5-inch is slightly longer, or slightly wider, I mean. Future me here, something I forgot to discuss in the video was about the thumb safety. So on the right side of the thumb safety, there's a notch in there, and I'll show you in this photo here for the Whistling Combat one. The new Prodigy 3.5-inch has that notch in there for it to better secure and also be easier to actuate it up and down. I know with the older Prodigies, people had issues with it locking up like it's supposed to between the two, and then also actuating the right side of the thumb safety. So this helped fix that problem. I noticed that the Wilson Combat ones have the same notch. So I don't know if these are Wilson Combat thumb safeties that Springfield is using, or if these are their own that they just added that part to it. But the cut is less sharp on here, as well as everything else is beveled out like it's supposed to be, cut like it's supposed to be. So they did a good job on that. All your screws and pins appear to be the same for the most part. Let me get to the sear spring real quick. So here are your sear springs. They are the same length. They are the same material. They have the same bends to them. So no changes there. Your mag releases. Your mag releases are the same. There's no change to it at all. It is exactly the same still. Now I did remove both triggers from mine, but I still have the stock triggers. Both stock triggers, which I don't know why would you keep it, but that's just me, are exactly the same. Same length, same width. Nothing has changed on them. They are cut the same. I will say for the compact version, the rear piece of the trigger bow is a little bit more flatter than the other one. It seems like that's a little more curved, and thickness is about the same. Here is the recoil spring guide rod spring for the compact, and I still have you already know it's a tooled guide rod. I did replace mine with a toolless system from Dawson Precision. So you're not going to get the same thing, but so you know, it's not a tooled assembly. It's still a pain in the ass, but it's not a tool assembly to get it out. The barrel itself, they're both bull barrels still. Everything to them. Excuse mine's being a little dirty, but you can see the difference in length, right? I wish they would have flushed and crowned tips of the barrel, but they don't. But everything else about it. Now, when you look at it from here, you can see where the barrel link is. It's a little more pronounced, just the area that houses it on the 5-inch compared to the compact. Of course, you would expect everything to be slightly smaller. But same groove, same everything for the most part. And then you have your firing pin and spring. Now I replaced the spring on this one, so of course it's going to look a little bit longer. But it's the same size spring. Let me go ahead and remove this. And I actually have a spring to replace that with for the 5-inch. Yeah. So it's similar springs. The slide itself. So as you can see, you got a tritium night sight on here, and you got fiber optic on the old one. I don't know if they're going to switch all of them over to the tritium from the fiber optic, but the cuts are similar. Serrations are the same, except for, you know, there's more in this because it's longer, but the rear part is still the same. Everything else is still the same. Railing seems to be the same. Now that disconnector hang up, I'm trying to see if this is higher up or not. No, it looks like the same. I will say this groove right here for the disconnector is oh no, maybe it's because it's dirty. No, but there you have it. Those are the differences between the two for anybody that was wondering. There you go. You have everything there. So I will catch y'all. Well, we'll go back to the rest of the video wherever I'm at in the video. All right, peace. Oh yeah, future me here on the Springfield Prodigy 3.5-inch compact. I know people complained before about fit and finish, and I forgot to talk about it in my video. Fit and finish on it is great. There's barely any wiggle at all. Barrel lockup is perfect. All the edges and everything on the safety and other things are not, there's no sharp edges. They did a good job with this gun. All right. So if anybody was wondering, I forgot to talk about it in the video. So let me add this to the video, now returning you back to the video. Peace. All right. Welcome back, fam. I hope you enjoyed that part of the video showing you the difference between the two, how the parts compare, what the Springfield changed over the time period to improve the new models that they came out with. You don't have to change anything from a stock gun, but I do change it for a reason. You know, I don't like the triggers of the original triggers of the Prodigy, so of course I'm gonna go with a red dirt or an Atlas trigger. The slide stop is too it's too flush with the slide, and so it's hard to manipulate. So going with the extended one helps out a lot. And then picking what optic you want to use. All of them look good on it, but I think the Acro, I finally broke down and got me another mailbox. I have the 509T, now I have the Acro. And then I had the TLR7 HLX, the long one that's extended out, and that thing was just caked with, it looked nasty when I got done firing it. So I'm going with the smaller one. Hopefully it doesn't get as caked up. And holster fitment. So I have this QVO holster. It's a light bearing holster for my Oracle Arms 2311 for the TLR HLX, right? This holster works for the Prodigy with the HLX and then also with just the 7X. This worked as well. So you can see It fits in there with no problems. See, it locks in, still good, because if you those of you who know, the HLX and the 7X, the body is the same. The only difference is the actual light itself is extended. So it fits in there the same way that the other one fits in there. Oh, let me go ahead and end this video because I know y'all have a short attention span and these videos can't go long. So Springfield Prodigy 3.5 inch. Great gun. I love it. I had no issues. This is a sample size of 2. Okay. I have my 5-inch, no issues, except for a slight little disconnector. And then my 3.5, no issues. So for me, job with all the other 1911s, the TRPs, the emissary, operator, all that. So I don't see or foresee Springfield really having an issue with the Prodigy anymore. The only thing I can see is just the Cerakote job and being too thick. But once that wears in, you shouldn't have no issues at all. So there you have it. Springfield Prodigy 3.5. I love this gun. This is my new EDC. I hope you love it too. And I'll catch you at the next one. Peace. I guess he wanted to add to the video. But before I forget, because I almost ended it wrong, appreciate yourself. Appreciate those you love. Appreciate those that love you. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.